Okay, so we're going to learn about net worth statement, a measure of financial health today. So Tom and Ted are good friends. Tom lives in a beautiful new 5-bedroom home and drives a brand new BMW to work. Ted lives across town in an older, more established neighborhood and has been driving the same car for the past 7 years. Which one's wealthier? To measure financial health or wealth, you need to look at more than what you own. You also need to include what you owe. The difference between what you own, which is considered assets, and what you owe, which is considered liabilities, is your net worth. So we're going to watch this video together.
Cheated. Was that even Friday even? Was it a New Year?
It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
I love that we've created a movement, though. So many of you guys are writing saying, hey, are y'all working on your net worth statements? And it cracks me up because it is indeed true. Bo, you did yours. You cheated. Was that even Friday even? Was it a New Year?
Well, it was the 29th of December, but, you know, it was the last trading day, so a lot of the values were there. So I did my net worth statement on December 29th.
So to give you all a peek behind the curtain, Bo is so excited. He doesn't even wait until the following year to start doing his net worth statement. I waited. I came in. I guess it was the first day, the second?
Second, yeah.
Second or third, I came in and I did my net worth statement. Remember, guys, the reason we want you to do your annual net worth statement, I had one of my close personal friends, he asked me what I do with my finances to kick off the year, and this is the first thing I threw out. And I said, this is an incredible opportunity because not only do you get to get an accounting of what you have going on, both assets, liabilities, total net worth, but you also get to see, how's my liquid capital doing? How much cash am I keeping on hand? How about my investments? How much do I have in actual investment? Are my debts, are they on a trend of being paid down? And it's just nice after you do this for 3, 5, 10 years, we're getting into decades by doing it. It gives you so much of a dashboard view of what's going on in your personal finances. And as I've used it, I have a spouse who doesn't get as excited about finances as I do. So I like the fact that I'm able to share with her our net worth statement. She's able to have it, put it in her unspeakables, drawer, and she knows what's going on if something happens to me.
Assets are resources that you own that have a future economic benefit. Okay. For instance, these are things that you own. Okay. The most common types of assets are real, liquid, investment, and personal. Real assets include your house, car, and property. Liquid assets can be easily turned into cash, such as bank accounts and CDs. Investment assets include any investments and retirement accounts. Personal assets are jewelry, paintings, etc. Illiquid assets are assets that are not liquid, or any asset that falls in the real, investment, or personal categories. Okay. Liabilities are what you owe that have a future obligation. Examples are loans and credit card debt. What's the difference between a liability and an expense? A liability is a future obligation for something already received but not yet paid for. An expense is money spent for something that happens and was paid for in the current period. Liabilities impact net worth and expenses impact profits. If you take assets minus liabilities, you get your net worth, which is a measure of your financial health. Let's watch this short video together.
$1,000 in a year, which would be a drag on his net worth. Periodically monitoring your net worth is a good way to get a quick snapshot as to whether or not you are improving your financial situation over time. Your net worth is simply what you own minus what you owe. What you own are your assets, and what you owe are your liabilities. We'll start with a simple example before we dig a little deeper. Let's suppose Jeremy wants to calculate his net worth. He'll start by listing all his assets. He has a $300,000 home, a $20,000 car, $5,000 in a checking account, and $15,000 in his tax-free savings account. Adding up all his assets, what he owns, comes to $340,000. Next, he'll list all his liabilities. He has a $200,000 balance remaining on his mortgage. His car loan has a balance of $15,000. He carries $3,000 on his credit cards from month to month, and he has a student loan of $27,000. Adding up all his liabilities, what he owes, comes to $245,000. Now, when we take what he owns, $340,000, and subtract what he owes, $245,000, Jeremy's net worth is $95,000. Now that we know the basics of calculating net worth, let's think about how we can use it. Perhaps once per year, Jeremy could recalculate his net worth to see if his financial situation is improving or not. The following year, his house has appreciated to $310,000, but his car is depreciated to $17,500. He still has $5,000 in his checking account, but he tapped into his TFSA and it's now empty. The new total for his assets is $332,500. He's reduced the balance owing on his mortgage to $190,000. The car loan is now $12,500, and he paid off his credit card by opening up a line of credit. He also used his line of credit to pay for a vacation and a new roof for the house, so the balance here is $20,000. His student loan is now $24,000, and his liabilities now total $246,500. His new net worth is $86,000, which is $9,000 worse than last year. Generally speaking, you'll want to focus on increasing your net worth during your working career by either increasing the value of the asset side or decreasing the value of the liability side. Here are a few more things to keep in mind. Number 1. Large assets may fluctuate in value and result in a decrease in net worth even though you're doing all the right things with managing your money. For example, the value of Jeremy's house may decrease by $20,000 in a year, which would be a drag on his net worth. The same could happen with a long-term investment portfolio, which can go up and down in value over the short term. Number 2. RRSPs, Registered Retirement Savings Plans, have a future tax liability attached to them. When you take money out of your RRSP or RIF, it's treated like income and subject to income tax. That means if your RRSP is worth $200,000, you likely won't get to spend $200,000. Some people choose to estimate the future tax liability on the liability side of the net worth calculation, while others ignore it. Number 3. It's possible to have a big house and fancy cars but have a low net worth because you owe a lot of money too. Similarly, it's possible to have a modest house and unremarkable cars and have a high net worth. It's impossible to judge this book by its cover, but knowing how to calculate and monitor your own net worth is a basic tool of financial literacy that you should understand.
Okay, so let's look at a net worth statement. The 3 sections in a net worth statement are assets, liabilities, and net worth. The different types of assets are liquid assets, investment assets, personal assets, and real estate assets. The amount to include on the net worth statement is the market value, which is the amount it is worth today if you sold it. It is not the amount you paid for the item. The amount of the asset used on a net worth statement is the market value of the asset. The market value is the amount it is owed today if you were to sell it. The amount of the liability used on a net worth statement is the amount you would pay if you paid off your loans that day. The difference between assets and liabilities is your net worth. Solvent versus insolvent. Being solvent means that your assets are greater than your liabilities and you're able to pay all debts. Insolvency is being unable to pay all your debts. Let's create a net worth statement for Jack. Jack took inventory of what he owns: cash, a car, cell phone, some clothes, and a computer. The market value of the items are as follows: cash $750, car $6,000, cell phone $150, clothes $200, and computer worth $100. So total assets are $7,200. Jack still owes $50 for his phone and owes $1,000 for his car. His total liabilities are $1,050. Jack's net worth is $7,200 minus $1,050. It's $6,150. What if Jack paid off his phone? Would his net worth go up, down, or stay the same? Liabilities would decrease by $50, and assets, cash, would decrease by $50, so there is no change in net worth. Jack received $1,100 in his paycheck on August 2nd. Did his net worth go up, down, or stay the same? Assets would increase by $1,100, so his net worth would increase to $7,250. Important, net worth ultimately only changes from assets increasing or decreasing in value, debt increasing, or cash flow used to pay down debt or buy or convert to assets. So in closure, financial health is a measure of what you own, your assets, versus what you owe, your liabilities. You can own many expensive things and not be doing well financially if you owe lots of money. The goal is to have a positive net worth. That's a measure of financial health.